Good morning, everyone. Good morning. There we go. Good morning. Welcome to the Muhammad Ali Center. My name is Erin Herbert. I am the Senior Director of Education and Curation here, and welcome to our 55th Daughters of Greatness program. I'm going to start a little differently than I normally do at Daughters of Greatness. If you all will forgive me for just a moment, there's been a great deal of grief and a need for healing in our community lately, and I'd like to just take a moment of silence or a moment of prayer, if you all, or however you believe, to uplift, because of the power of this community and the love that's in this room this morning. I'd like to just take a moment to uplift our dear friend Adria Johnson and her family as they move through the unimaginable. Thank you all so much. Next week is Thanksgiving. And so I want to start by giving thanks and gratitude. This is our final Daughters of Greatness event of 2022, and I get the privilege of standing up here and welcoming you and seeing all of your wonderful smiling faces at me, but this is definitely a team effort. The Ali Center team here is absolutely incredible, and I am so grateful to my team members who make this event possible time after time, 55 times. Our housekeeping staff, our building services staff, our security team who signed in at 5:45 this morning to make this happen, our events team. I want to give a special shout out to Tabitha McNulty in the back of the room who really makes this event happen. Our education team, our leadership team, everyone at the Ali Center. A special thank you to our caterers who do an amazing job at Ladyfingers. I really sincerely appreciate you and everything that you do to make this event happen. I want to thank my parents who are in the room and who are in the room at every single event. If you haven't met them, Marty and Jerry Herbert, they're in the back there. I'm especially thankful to my husband, Derek, who is here, who gets our daughter to school on these mornings and then shows up in space to support me. I also want to say a special thank you and acknowledge our two past Daughters of Greatness honorees who are with us this morning, Victoria Russell and Dr. Ashley Anderson. Give them a round of applause. And I particularly want to thank our table sponsors, the sponsors of this program who really make it possible. These are the individuals, the organizations, the friends of the center who have supported this program time and time again. I'm going to name them all: Alice Houston, Brown-Forman, Bellarmine University, Dr. Alexandra Gerasimides, the Family Scholar House, Ingrid Gentry, Mary Casey, PNC Bank, the Glenview Trust Company, and of course Humana for your support of all of our programs. Thank you all so much. And finally, let me just say thank you to all of you. I know it's, sometimes it's hard to get up on a Friday morning when it's dark outside and it's cold outside, and you're making the choice to be a part of our continued journey here at the Ali Center to make our mission possible. And I just appreciate always being in space with you and being in community with you. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for being here. I'd like to take a few minutes to ask my friend, Teresa Burge, who's our Assistant Director of Development, to come up and say a few words. Teresa, come on up.
Thank you so much. With so many wonderful and powerful faces in this room, I wanted to take a moment to update you on what we've been doing at the center. We are approaching 1 year with a wonderful leader at our helm, Miss Marilyn Jackson, and we have a lot to be thankful for and proud of in this past year. But I think the thing that I personally am most thankful and proud of is this strategic plan that we've accomplished. We've done a lot of things, but this plan lights the way forward for our organization, who are going to be not just for the next 3 years, but for the foreseeable future. Over the past several months, we engaged in a community forum strategic plan where we got together with board, staff, and many community members, over 100 stakeholders, including several of the folks here in this room, to figure out what it should be that the center does in community, how we should show up in community. And we also looked at other organizations showing up in similar space. And the results were very clear. One, we found out that we as a Lean Mean team are doing more with less. The remarkable staff are able to do remarkable things with relatively scant resources at their disposal, and it's a tremendous thing. Two, we as an institution need to be focused on shoring up our resources. And three, and this is the space where I really want to focus, we found that as a center, we should be focused on equity. The community wants us to show up loud and proud and bold in the equity space. As one person put it, the center should be the voice of racial and social justice in this community, and that's where we're intended to head. So with that, we're proud to announce that we have a new mission statement as an organization. We've moved beyond simply wanting to preserve the legacy of Muhammad Ali, and we are looking to mobilize that legacy in advancement of racial, social justice in our community. And we're doing that not only in service of what we heard from our stakeholders, what we heard from community, what we want to do, but we're doing that in service of Muhammad Ali's legacy itself. We feel that this is what Muhammad Ali would want us to do at this moment. Muhammad Ali was boldly anti-racist at a time before most of us knew that word. And this is a moment of divisiveness in our country where we feel that not only the power of Muhammad's voice, but the unifying message that he brings to us has the capacity to bring us together and lift community in a real and powerful way. And so that's where we're headed. This is these are marching orders, and it's a bold order, but I think that it's a bold thing that Muhammad was able to accomplish. It's something that feels, we say so much that to me sometimes it can lose its power, but I think about how radical it was that Muhammad Ali was a kid from West Louisville who had the radical confidence to declare himself the greatest of all time. And I think that there's a mandate that we be bold in the way that we stand out in community in the same way. And so that's what we're going to do. And I also think that the ways in which we are going to boldly lean into this future is a reflection of the ways that we are going to honor the others who carry forward Muhammad's legacy. And that includes folks like Miss Carolyn Tandy, folks who are honoring today, our daughters who are part of that legacy. The ways in which Carolyn has stood up for community, who's been a champion of equity in our community and has lifted community by elevating folks and connecting folks around her, and the way that Carolyn has really been one of the first and fiercest advocates of this work. To me, being able to realize this work, bring it to fruition at its fullest expression is one way in which we can honor somebody so worth honoring. And so I'm grateful for the chance to do so. I'm grateful for the chance to honor these. So with that, here's some information to, you can connect with us moving forward. And I also want to just elevate to you guys that we realize that we are not going to be able to recognize this fullest expression of who we are alone. It has to be done in partnership. And so there are two ways in which I want to elevate that I'm asking you guys to partner with us. One is, you can see two items on your tables now. One is our corporate membership program. So all of y'all who are table sponsors of Daughters of Greatness, I'm happy to announce, bonus, you now are corporate members too. And for those of you who are looking to join our corporate membership program, bonus, you will automatically get tables to our Daughters series next year. We have a really wonderful lineup and we're really excited for you to join us. But we want your feedback on this program. We want your feedback on what are meaningful benefits. We're just building this. We know that for the center to show up the way we want to show up, we need community to step up in a bigger way, but we also in turn need to step up in a bigger way. We need that to be a dialogue. And then two, in Q1 of this year, we are going to be releasing a community needs assessment. Again, it's not just in the community funding space that we need to collaborate, but it's in the community impact space we need to collaborate. And so we want your voices to help inform how do you want the center to show up in community. It's going to be a partnership all the way. And so please partner with us and help us realize the fullest expression of who we are becoming as a center.
Teresa.
Teresa's been here 2 months so far. She's amazing. Thank you, Teresa, for joining Team Ali. It is now my privilege to welcome to the microphone the individual who is going to introduce our Daughters of Greatness honoree, her wonderful husband, David Tandy.
Good morning, everybody. So happy to be here with all of you. They told me to try to keep it as short as possible. And it's one of those things, I don't know how many of y'all have ever had an experience where like you see like words go out of your mouth and then you're like, what did I just say or what can I just do? So it's like, so they asked me and said, hey, would you introduce your wife? And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, oh God. How do you, what do you say, well, first of all, how do you introduce somebody you've known for over 24 years that you can like just innately know, like we'll share with each other all the time how like, I'll just pick up the phone, I'll just call and say, hey, and then she was like, I was just thinking I need to call you. Or vice versa, right? I may be doing something and then she'll call me. How do you introduce somebody that you've known for that long, you know that well, and you do it in public in such a way to where you can still go to sleep at night knowing that you haven't said anything that violates the trust that's present in a relationship? And so, you're right. So, Janet, I was trained as a litigator, but I do corporate stuff now because litigation is too hard for me. But one of the things where you learn as an attorney, you can start off and be prepared to say, this is what I'm going to say. And then you get in front of the jury and you're looking at them, and somebody can give you a look and it'll take you off in a whole other direction because you're kind of like you're reading the room, right? And so I have something written, but I'm a vary just a little bit, okay? I look at my job as Carolyn's husband as at times to try to be her translator, or I don't know if how many of y'all have seen that skit from Key and Peele where it was the Obama translator, right? There are times in our relationship where I am the Carolyn translator for folks, right? So you will see Carolyn and she's like, hi, how are you? We love you. Give you a hug, all of that, right? But then if you were to ask me, who might be standing behind her, what's really going on, there may be some times we're like, I wish you would. Try me, right? Or it'd be a situation like in this case, it's where it's like, we want to recognize you as a daughter of greatness. And she'll say, oh, no, it's not about me, it's about everybody else. And so this morning, I want to say, we thank, on behalf of the Tandy and Whitaker families, we thank the Ali Center and all of you for being here, for recognizing Carolyn as a daughter of greatness. Yeah. But there is one thing that we always knew, that Carolyn is, was, and will always be a daughter, a wife, a mother, a soror, a link, a business executive, and a civic leader of greatness. Carolyn has always been great, whether she wants to admit it or not. And there's times too, as her husband, I will say things publicly that I will say to her privately, but she may not hear me because at home, Rudy, you just married, so we can talk. As husbands, you know what I'm saying. But if I say it publicly, I won't get beat up, right? I got witnesses, right? Carolyn has always been great. That greatness has always been inside of her. It is something that, like energy, it cannot be created and it can't be destroyed. It is who you are, right? We hear the stories about Ali all the time. He kept saying, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest. And we thought that was something where he was being braggadocious. No, it's just recognizing what you see in the mirror. It's just science, it's just fact, right? And that's who Carolyn is. And her superpower comes from the fact that she has embodied and embraced the wisdom that is present in, that Maya Angelou often said. She said, people will forget what you say. They may forget what you do, but they will never forget how you make them feel. And what Carolyn does for our family and for everybody in this room and for people across this community and indeed across the country and even in different parts of the world is that she will always let you know how she feels about you and how you will always come away better for knowing how she made you feel. So you'll know that, she loves you with a hug or a kind word. You'll never forget that you're appreciated by her just being present and looking you in the eye as she's talking to you. And you'll never forget how she made you feel respected because she let you know that you belong just the way that you are. And so that is why it is my great honor and my great pleasure to present to some and introduce to others the always and incomparable 2022 month of November. Save the best for last. Miss Carolyn Tandy.
Oh my goodness. Hello, good morning, everyone. Let me first thank the Ali Center for this moment. For me, this breakfast is truly a blessing in so many ways, mostly because it's an example of what Dr. King referred to as the beloved community. Look around you. This, Derek Carr, is my beloved community. Yeah. You all are a part, Sushik, of my beloved community. Let me acknowledge my family who are here with me today. I want to first make sure to give thanks to my spouse, hey Nicole, the Honorable David W. Tandy. Now you all know I'm going to embarrass my kids. But you all know after you just heard that, it's going down tonight. I love this man. Every eyelash, every dimple. Yes, close your ears, Kevin, close your ears. Every inch.
Oh my goodness.
It's Friday morning. Every inch of this 6'4" frame is mine. Wait a minute. I have to take a picture of my children holding their ears. No, with all seriousness, I thank you, David. I thank you for blessing me with you. I thank you for being my life partner. I'm blessed because I get to walk this journey each day with you. Flaws and all, you accept me for who I am. You have never tried to change who I am, but instead you have loved me, the good and the bad. And I love and thank you for that. Yes, my kids are here. Stand up. Kennedy, Avery, and Solomon. Kennedy was supposed to be born on St. Patrick's Day, hence the Irish name. I should also share my great-grandmother was Irish. On my mom's side, Kennedy is 18 years old. She's an artist and a thespian. She loves the arts and the theater. I know we have some Bellarmine folks here. She is a proud Bellarmine University Knight. Go Knights. Shout out to Dr. Donovan and the Bellarmine crew here. My second baby, Avery Simone. Avery got her first name from the character Shug Avery. In the book, in the movie The Color Purple, Simone was given to her from the prolific singer and artist of Nina Simone. Avery will be 15 next week, friends, on Thanksgiving. So please join me in wishing her a very early happy birthday. And my third baby, Solomon, King Solomon, the son of David. Solomon has 4 names. Solomon Warren, which is the middle name he shares with his father and grandfather, and Emmanuel, God with us, is the name all the men on my mother's side shares. Solomon is 13. We have 3 teenagers. It's a lot, especially for someone who didn't know for several years if I could even bear children at all. All of our kids, hi Alex, all of our kids are brilliant. They are smart, they are athletic, they're talented, and most of all, to me, they are kind. They are activists in their own right. They care about the world in our community, and they care about each other. I thank you for your patience with me and your kindness and tough love you have shown me. It is my greatest joy to be your mama. And by the way, you're the one crying. They had bets. Mind you, my sorority sisters know this. My line name is Teardrop. So it does not take me normally long to drop a tear, but for the record, I want the money that's on the table. My mom is here with me today. 81 years young, 81 years of stories. And by the way, I have to say this. I'm going to say it this way because otherwise I may get emotional. We had a dear friend of ours. You heard about the tragedies that Adria is dealing with. Additionally, we had a friend who passed away on Wednesday after battling cancer for quite some time. Well, I posted about it, and those friends that don't know me as well thought she was my mother. So lo and behold, like Easter Sunday, early on Sunday morning, she rose, and she is here with us today. All wrapped up in that beautiful Jamaican accent. Unlike me, who can forget what I did yesterday, she remembers everything. So try to catch her before she leaves today. If you want some dirt on me, like always, she'll be glad to oblige. As the kids say, she has all the receipts. Thank you, Mom, for your sacrifices and for putting a love of God in my heart and in my mind and in my steps and every day. To my sorors of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And look, we got Ashley over here working. She's a soror too, mind you. I thank you for being here. I love you, Joanne. Thank you for being here, for supporting me. I have one seat open at the table for Sister Sharon, who I knew is here. I know is here in spirit and in truth. I haven't worn a red jacket in quite some time, but I know it was her favorite color. So love you, my baby, Sharon D. Baker. There are many groups here with us today, but none showed up quite like Team Humana. If you're from Team Humana, just kind of wave your hand. Yes, yes. Now you know this is what love really looks like. I don't want to get myself in trouble by calling out names, but you and I know who you are. I have to acknowledge a few in my tribe. Those who are my texting buddies, those who on Fridays I get my team's message of encouragement, my dinner partners. You know who you are, my prayer warriors. Thank you to all of you who have been keeping me lifted and grounded in your love. And to my team, Team IND. Whoop, whoop. The best team on the planet. I would not be able to do this work if it were not for you. Thank you for walking this walk alongside me. Humana, thank you to each of you who have welcomed me with open arms during the last year. There's no organization quite like you. We just gonna inside joke that, we're gonna park it right there. I have been in Louisville for 21 years now. There are people in this room who have known me that full-time route. There are other people in this room I'm meeting for the very first time. And guess what? None of it is by accident. All of it has been purposed. And I'm truly thankful for this opportunity to be with you today. We're entering a season of gratitude. While the season can be cheery and bright, it can also be a sobering season, one riddled with sadness and despair. I want to start off today by making sure someone told you just how special you are. I want you to know how cared for you are. I want you to know how much you are loved. I want to make sure you know that, so when you go out of here, you don't question, am I loved? Carolyn told you you are loved. You are important. Never doubt that for 1 second. It's super important. I want you to know it in your heart and in your mind. There's a gospel song that would be played from time to time that says, when I look back over my life and I think things over, I can truly say God has blessed me all the way. I've got a testimony. When I tell people some of the stories about the people I have met and the experience I've had in my life, they tell me my life could be the female version of Forrest Gump. Oh, friends, I have seen and heard some things. I was a White House intern in the Clinton administration. Oh, friends, I have seen and heard some things. My first work mentor was Omarosa. Now, see, these are friends that know me and they don't know this tea. Oh, friends, I have seen and heard some things. Where's Brooke Perry Pardue? Brooke and I produced the first public rally for then a junior senator from the state of Illinois. Oh, friends, we definitely have seen and heard some things. And I worked alongside Brooke and Colleen, AKA Gabriel's mama, and Jasmine Weatherby, who's on the screen somewhere, now that I know that they're streaming this, and Keidra King, and Rudy Spencer, who was my very first intern, AKA Halston's daddy, on the Hill for our soon-to-be retired Congressman John Yarmouth, and even my sister Kenya, who was fighting traffic to get here. She's in the atmosphere. She worked for Steny Hoyer, and we, yes, saw some things. Raul Cunningham is here. Kevin Dunlap is here. NAACP. I actually knew Raul before I knew David. We worked together in the Democratic Party. And sir, we have heard and seen some things. When I stopped to think about it, all of these experiences and so much more have helped shape who I am into the person I am today. The prolific dreamer and linguistical genius, Jay-Z, put it this way, Brother Corey. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. You may have heard the saying, the keys to success in life is not what you know, but who you know. That is why I'm a firm believer in doing what I call collecting people. When I was at Texas Roadhouse, where are my roadies? Hi, my roadies. This was one of my most popular workshops, right? On how do we collect people. And what do I mean by that? Well, every person I encountered, as far as I'm concerned, is a moment of inspiration. At least it is for me. While I am truly an introvert, believe it or not, I'm absolutely an introvert. I will have to go hose myself down after this. Sorry for all the honesty. I have to say I really love people. And I mean it. I really do love people. I've always loved people. And if you look at my friend group, it's a reflection of that broad, diverse collection of people. Friends, I have every hue of the rainbow. I've got gay, I've got straight, I've got trans, I've got bi. I've got young folk in my tribe, like Ashley Anderson. But mostly, I love the company of the seasoned crew, the over-the-hill gang. As a person in my 40s, it may be strange to know that my besties are in their 50s, in their 60s, and in their 70s. You know I'm calling y'all out by age. I'm not calling names. But y'all know who you are. But I do have some good friends here. And they know how to live life. Their filter is gone. Their opinions are many. Hey, Kenya. Aww. Okay, your seat's right over here. Y'all say hi, Kenya. Y'all should not give me a mic. I promise you that. Y'all should never give me a mic. But, like I said, they know how to live life. Their filter is gone. Their opinions are many. Their tolerance for the BS, none. Their time is precious. and their wisdom is a gift that is important to my grounding, my perspective, and my optimism. I would not be the person I am today without them. And Sharon Baker is an example of that. Clarence Yancey was an example of that. They were members of my tribe, lost recently, and I'm better for knowing them. My childhood and upbringing have always been a foundational element of who I am and how I see life. My work and my influence, I am grateful to have known what it's like to have a father that loved me. But my mom raised me as a single parent. She removed herself from an abusive relationship, moved the two of us into a bedroom in my uncle's house. For 7 years, we lived in that single bedroom in my uncle's house. Someone asked me over there, "Does your mom live with you?" I said, "Oh, no." She likes her personal space. And guess what? I do too. Now, my uncle, he was the first Black Republican I knew and was a high influencer on how and why I do my work today. Growing up in his house was hard. He raised his family to gravitate to and uplift everything that was white, that was wealthy, that was affluent, that was Christian, and in his mind, America's standard of perfectionism. In many ways, consciously or unconsciously, that made me consciously or unconsciously gravitate to the contrary, to the diverse, to the underserved. It made me want to champion the contrary, to celebrate and fight for the opportunity for equity in my midst. When I felt he was running from, I wanted to run towards. My fire and passion for my work has grown over time. I used to feel shy about my thoughts and opinions, but as I get closer to 50, like my seasoned besties, I become more focused on saying what needs to be said rather than being focused on how people feel about it, and less focused on who's offended. Your life experiences, good and bad, make you who you are, Wanda. You should embrace the good parts, learn from the bad parts, and not let the negative hold you back from being who you are intended to be. My life's work has been about building bridges. When I worked in Washington as the Director of African American Outreach, I was charged with making sure the voices of the people had a seat at the table. When I was in Congress, I was charged with making sure representative government meant just that, and that all parts of the community had access to power and access to services. When I was at Texas Roadhouse, Shaka Khan, Nora, and others here today, we were charged with reminding roadies, Amy, the very thing we were running from was the very thing that made us successful. That's our people. And now Humana, beloved Humana, I am charged with encouraging our leaders to help us create an environment that creates equitable outcomes for our people. How can we show up as focused for our associate populations as we do for our member populations? How can we attract and retain the best talent no matter where they are or who they are? And how do we create and cultivate an environment of belonging where we grow our talent and give them every reason to say yes and to stay? How do we ensure the experience of every associate is important to all of us and we do something about it? It's not just important to Humana, It's important to our colleges like Bellarmine. And it's important to our corporations like Houston Johnson and Jim Beam and Brown Forman. And it's important to our nonprofits like Family Scholar House and the Muhammad Ali Center. We are all in this beloved community together. How and what we do makes this city and community equitable and representative to all of us matters to all of us. Belonging matters to all of us. What we want to see our city in terms of prospering and grow, we want to be surrounded by the best education, the best health care, the best housing, the best quality of life. So yes, my life's work has been about building bridges, and there's still much more work to be done. To Marilyn Jackson, my sister, raise your hand so folks can see you. I am so proud of the Muhammad Ali Center, and I'm so very proud of you. Your impact on the city is already being felt. It is important we learn to love our talent when they come to Louisville. Marilyn's not from here, she's from Chicago. We need to keep them connected. We're not always kind to outsiders, friends. Our talent is a gift to our community, and we should demonstrate in our actions that gift and keep them close. We want them to know this is home. To Aaron and Teresa and Elizabeth, the staff, thank you all for always having my back, for everything you do for this beautiful building to fill it with the right stories and moments that are purposeful and meaningful and true. I'm so grateful to my work colleagues at Humana like Michael and Tally and Abby and Dior for helping shine light on the Center for Humana and for us becoming better neighbors to this hometown treasure. In closing, I will say, I want to make sure to also give a shout out to Nikki and Titi, also my family here. Titi was Uncle Titi, affectionately known as Uncle Titi. He practically raised our kids. When David was at the council and I was in the congressman's office, Titi was the backup. And he's still on the list as the backup. You can't do it by yourself. So I want to make sure and thank them as well. In closing, one of my mentors, the late great State Senator Georgia Davis Powers, a daughter of greatness. Senator Powers was the first African-American, first female senator in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, State Representative Pamela Stevenson. She lived across the street from David and me, right there in that big blue building. She would invite us over, she would cook chili, and we would tell stories. And she has seen stop. I'm not gonna go there. Senator Powers, she would ask me, what are you willing, Carolyn, to fight for? Miss Juneteenth, I see your shoes, girl. What are you willing to fight for? So in closing, I'm gonna ask you, my friends, what are you willing to fight for? Thank you. And I didn't cry. Oh, any questions? Any questions from the audience? Yes, hi Cynthia. Good morning.
I love hearing from you.
I love that. Thank you for that question. Really, in some ways, I think they're just natural ways that either you're a person that knows how to network, or you have to work at knowing how to network. Nicole Yates knows how to network. There are other people who don't know how to do it. And so you have to put it into your muscle memory. So you have to practice. So we create a workshop, which I can certainly come and do for Leadership Law. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. But to give people that opportunity to practice.
450.
Okay, in that skit, that Obama skit, you know which one I am, and you know which one he is. I just want to be clear. But yeah, that's the nature of it, but it's lots of fun. And if you can build it in your muscle memory, then again, it becomes more natural. Thank you for the question. Yes.
Of course, you know, political junkie. I'd like you to tell us more about Omarosa.
So, I will love to share about Omarosa. And if anyone wants to go Facebook scouring, she is still my Facebook friend, and we communicate often. But when I saw and met Omarosa, do you remember like the first album of Whitney Houston, the beautiful brown skin with the fade? That's what Omarosa looked like. And she was always powerful, very clear about her conviction. She went to Central State. She's from Ohio. She went to Howard. And we had a mutual friend, Kevin Jefferson, who had auditioned for the show. And they sent Kevin home saying, Kevin, you too straight-laced. You know, this is not for you. We're looking for more animation. We're trying to sell a show. And secretly, Omarosa had a personality, kind of like, you know, we have, you know, Sasha Fierce and Beyonce. She had her own alter ego that she would act out. And Kevin came back and said, you know, Lady O, yeah, that's the one that they're looking for this show. And so she auditioned as Lady O and got that role, which says a lot to me also about what we gravitate towards and what we celebrate, right? Because she's still the same person I know her as when I graduated 10 years ago. She's still that same person. But for so long, she's had to put on a persona. And it's gotten her popularity, maybe not for the right reasons, but people certainly, I don't have to tell you her last name for you to know who Omarosa is. So, yes.
You shared about your faith. Would you talk a little bit more about that? And then also some of your favorite books and authors that I know. 'Cause I know you're a bookworm. So share that in terms for women and inspiration.
So in this room, it's an easy one. I'll do the last one first and I'll come to the first. In this room, just about 2 months ago, Humana was the signature host for Women of Color Conference. And Diversity Inc. gave us that privilege and honor to be able to bring that here. And Minda Hart was, she's the author of the memo, but she was also one of the featured speakers here. If you can get anything that Minda Hart says, whether it be on book, tape, podcast, sit at her feet, anything that you can get in terms of short in stature, she's probably good maybe 4'8" when she's tall, full of life, full of knowledge. I would certainly recommend her. But then you asked me about my faith. And see, you're going to make me drop a tear on that. I think it's really important for folks to have a grounding. I know where my grounding is. I'm very happy to be able to speak openly about my faith. Not everyone has that same grounding. And it's for various reasons, no judgment whatsoever. But I know what gets me through the day. And I don't know how others get through the day without it. You can't lean only on your own understanding. You can't. And if you try, you will fail. You will fail. So I'm so grateful for my Christ, because that's the only way I'm able to stand upright right now, especially after this week. So I just say, for those who don't know, try them for yourself. Try them for yourself. If you need a prayer partner, call me. You need someone to pray for you, call me. I mean that. It's too important. They're only here for a short period of time. It's too important, right?
Another round of applause. Stay up here for 1 moment. Can I ask Marilyn, Victoria, Ashley, can you join Carolyn up here on stage? Come on up. I'm gonna move this over a little. I'm gonna ask you all to step over here. This is gonna be your photo moment, folks. Get out your cameras.